My staff has asked me to talk a little bit about the new American Ultra Luxe Vintage guitars by Fender. There's abundant amount of information out there about these things. I think really the question is, why do we need another Tele? Why do we need another Strat and a new line from them? And the answer is actually pretty simple. So one of the things I really like about Fender in the last 10 years or so is how linear they've become. And really they have this idea of two branches on their tree, and everything sort of delineates from that. So you have on one side your modern player instruments. So player instruments out of Mexico, the American Pro 2 and the Ultra 2s, right? Those are designed for the modern player. It's the idea of how do we improve the instrument for modern playing, and especially for the period that we're in, right? What are players now looking for out of an instrument, not trying to recreate something from the past. And then on the other side of the tree, you have your vintage, your attempt to authenticate the vintage instruments. So you have your Vinteras, your American Vintage 2. And so now, just to complete that side of the tree, we're taking the Ultra 2 and we're adding a vintage series to it. It does actually make sense, right? What are we trying to do here? We're actually trying to bring the vintage feel, vintage tones, but in a more modern instrument. You know, the sound of the vintage instrument with all the player-focused innovations of the Ultra 2. A couple of the cool things: new pure vintage pickups, aged heirloom lacquer finishes. I don't know if you can kind of see, it's checked and made to look a little bit old, a little aged. We have a really cool modern D neck on it with rolled edges, medium jumbo stainless steel frets, Lumini side dots, Graphtec tusk nut. Yeah, right. Look at the cutout there. You can kind of see the body design for those of us with the guts, right? Cutouts over here, right? We've got some more access with this tempered here, locking tuners. So basically my 5152 Tele, but with all the modern accoutrements for a modern player. Same thing in the Strats, very similar over here. Modern D-shaped neck, same finish. I don't know if you can see the checking on this bad boy. Very cool. This has the pure vintage 61 tones in it, right? But again, with the contours here on the heel, lock tuners, modern D neck, new updated pickups, alder body on this one. Oh, by the way, that's an ash body on that 51, which is pretty cool. Like I said, all the details are out there, but really what we're trying to do is complete that side of the tree for Fender, giving you the vintage take on the Ultra series. So that is the American Ultra Luxe Vintage series. We have them all on order. You can see the pre-orders for all the ones that are coming, and then we have a couple of these in stock. They've been selling. Look at that. That is so cool. It is really awesome. That is the new American Ultra Luxe Vintage series here at Bananas at Lars.